Thanks for joining us for CMSportsNet's 2021 Soccer Wrap-Up Show. I'm Mike Preston, and with me is Pat Stoetzer. Today, we'll take a look back at the season for Carroll County High School girls soccer teams, discuss Century's championship with Coach Chris Little. We'll recognize our offensive and defensive players of the year, and we'll hear from Carroll Community College men's soccer coach Tom O'Brien and a few of his top players about the Lynx season. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get right into it with a look back at the 2021 girls soccer season. Pat, how did the Carroll girls do this season?
Thanks, Mike. This year's Carroll County Athletic League Championship went to Century, with the Knights taking the title for the third time in as many seasons. Century posted an 11-3-1 record and had 4 shutouts along the way. The Knights were led by top scorers and forwards Haley Greenwade and Harley Hamlet, who were joined by defender Lauren Hackett and midfielder Caroline Little on the All-Carroll County Athletic League's first team. Liberty had a 10-win season this fall, and the Lions were the last Carroll County team standing. They knocked off rival Century in the playoffs and captured their first regional title since 1996. Midfielders Grace Culver and Jordan Townsend shared the team lead in points, and goalie Lauren Mondor helped anchor a defense that had 7 shutouts along the way. Culver, Townsend, and Mondor joined forward Grace Young on the CCAL's first team. South Carroll went 4-2 in county play behind top scorer and forward Madeline Boyce. The Cavaliers had a thrilling overtime win against Liberty in the regular season, and they pushed Loch Raven to penalty kicks before losing in the regional playoffs. Boyce and defender Lauren Chesney earned first-team All-CCAL honors. Manchester Valley struggled during the fall, but still finished above 500 in the county at 3-2-1. The Mavericks boasted one of the top keepers in the county this year in Emma Lander, who had 92 saves and an 82.1 save percentage. Midfielders Taylor Dads and Taylor Shank were first-team All-CCAL picks. Westminster had a 3-3 in-county record, and forward Ella Busey was one of only 2 girls in the county to post double-digit goals this season. The Owls had some offensive help from Emma Youngling and strong defensive efforts from goalie Sydney Hetrick. Busey was also a CCAL first-teamer. Winters Mill finished 4-8 this year, but they did start 3-1. The Falcons were led by forward Betty Bittner and midfielder Kiyomi Mastro on offense, and some solid goalkeeping from Emma Jewell and Brooke Bennett. Mastro made the All-CCAL first team as well. Francis Scott Gee didn't have the best regular season, but the Eagles made the most of their regional playoffs. They won 2 Class 1A North games and fell just short in the regional title game, backed by a pair of the county's top scorers in midfielder Mackenzie Wilhide and forward Abby Rieger. Wilhide earned first-team All-CCAL honors.
Thanks, Pat. There were a number of exciting games this year, but none more exciting than an early October matchup between South Carroll and Liberty that went to overtime.
Liberty High School celebrated its girls soccer senior night on October 5th and hosted South Carroll in a Carroll County clash. Senior midfielder Madeline Boyce gets the Cavaliers on the board early as she takes care of a rebound and drills the ball into the net. Maddie Witter has the initial shot before Boyce's goal. The Lions have a go at this corner kick in the 14th minute, but SC goalkeeper Brooke Turner turns away the threat with this save. Witter comes through on offense for South Carroll to make it 2-0 with 22 minutes to play in the first half. Liberty's offense gathers itself late in the first half. Junior midfielder Grace Young takes a short pass from Maddie Rightina and cuts into South Carroll's lead. After this long free kick, senior midfielder Cassie O'Hearn gets into the box and finds the equalizer. Liberty draws even with South Carroll at halftime, 2-2. The Cavaliers start the second half with a quick surge, and senior Allie Schultz manages to notch a goal less than 20 seconds in. It's 3-2 South Carroll. Liberty goalkeeper Lauren Mondor keeps the game tied here with one of her 10 saves. Turner, also with 10 saves, matches that at the other end of the field for the Cavaliers after Jordan Townsend's solid strike. The Cavaliers still lead 3-2 with less than 9 minutes to go, but Townsend gets her head on this corner kick and they're tied up once again. South Carroll needs overtime for the second time in a game to end it. Mondor comes up with a pair of big saves at first, but senior Lucy Cherry gets the game winner, and the Cavaliers prevail 4-3.
That was really a great game. Coming up next, we'll have Century coach Chris Little with us on set to talk about how the Knights captured the Carroll County Athletic League championship.
Welcome back. Joining us now is Century High School girls soccer coach Chris Little, whose team went 11-3-1 overall and 6-0 in the Carroll County Athletic League this season. Chris, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks a lot, Pat.
Congratulations on winning the county championship in your first year as varsity, but you're no stranger to the program. You've been around the JV level for several years. What was it like moving up from JV to varsity, and obviously, wanting to continue to set that bar pretty high for future seasons?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Pat. I mean, it was definitely a bigger step up. But I will say though, with Coach Faguli, Coach Johnson, the past coaches have been fantastic to learn from. Being around the program in the boys' side for about 4 years prior to this, I've got a real good, solid nucleus of coaches who have helped support me.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't such a bad thing, but I will say, though, I wasn't quite used to the administrative things that I needed to do as a head coach, but it's been fun.
The transition was smooth, though.
It was very smooth.
Good. This season was filled with a lot of highlights, obviously, all through the year, but I can guess also one at top the list probably was the time you were able to spend coaching your daughter, Caroline. What was that experience like?
It was fun. Caroline's a special player, real tough, tenacious player, but one of the things that's most difficult is anyone who coaches their own child is, how do you coach the toughest position to play, which is coach's kid.
Yeah.
So she did a fantastic job of keeping me in place, and I gave her as much room as possible to do her thing and not get in her way.
Good. One of the top talents on your team and in the whole county is Haley Greenwade. Led the county again this year in scoring. What does she mean to your team in just terms of the success, but also the leadership and the talent that she shows on the field?
Haley does so many things for our team.
Yeah.
She's been a player of the year. She's done so many things at the club level. And when she decided to made the decision to stay in high school and not do the academy route and be committed to her high school, that stepped up and showed quite a bit of leadership for not only the program but other girls.
Right.
She practices hard. She brings it to the game, and she's her toughest critic, which is part of the challenge of being, a high-level D1 athlete like she's going to be. And her teammates rewarded her this year because they gave her the opportunity to be a captain. So it's a real positive experience for the team and for Haley.
I know you lose Haley as a senior and a couple others as well who contributed to the success, but what's the future look like for the next couple of seasons? Is there a nucleus coming back?
Yeah, there's quite a nucleus. I mean, we had 66 players out for tryouts this year. We only had 50 uniforms, so it made it tough. We've got a good problem to have, and I know the other coaches in the county don't care about that or will lose any sleep over that. But notwithstanding, we had some tough decisions to make. But, our JV coach we brought in this year, brand new, Heather James, did a fantastic job, led her team to an undefeated season at the JV level. And, we returned several varsity players this year, Harley Hamlet, Emily Bell-Donnell, Mia Graff. So we've got quite a nucleus of players, both juniors and sophomores, who are going to be successful.
Great. Congratulations again, Chris, and thanks a lot for joining us. Back to you, Mike.
Speaking of success, Pat recently traveled down to the southern part of the county to speak with CMSportsNet's Girls Soccer Offensive and Defensive Players of the Year, Haley Greenwade of Century and Jordan Townsend of Liberty.
We're here with the Girls Soccer Players of the Year for CMSportsNet. Offensive Player of the Year is Century's Haley Greenwade. Defensive Player of the Year is Liberty's Jordan Townsend. Jordan, I know offense is a part of your game, but there's also defense involved too. Just take me through what you go through in order to kind of get yourself ready in defensive mindset. 'Cause I know you score goals and you provide assists as well, but there's a defensive side to your game as well.
Well, for club, I am a defensive player. I play center back or outside back, and it's just my nature. Like, I just always want to defend the ball. It's just what I do. I usually don't like attacking, but for high school, I attack, but defensive is what my game.
How do you put that club, the club skill into the high school game? A different game, I know, because it's a lot different competition sometimes. But do you still have that defensive mind? I know you're the center mid for Liberty. Do you still have that defensive mindset when you go out there on the high school field?
Oh, definitely. Always defensive minded, no matter what.
They ask you to take the free kicks a lot and use some of that power on your leg. But I wanted to ask you about the season. I mean, you guys had a really good season. It wasn't a county title season, but you guys caught fire in the playoffs. What was it like being able to bring the regional title for the first time in 25 or 6 years for Liberty?
It was amazing. Being a senior, winning regionals, beating Century, it was awesome.
Now you're off to the Naval Academy next year for soccer. What factored into that decision? That's a big decision for kids to make. How excited are you for that?
Oh, I'm so excited. My brother, he's in the Army. My dad was in the Marines. It was just a big part of my family that I wanted to serve our country.
Congratulations, and thanks in advance for your service. And we'll turn over to Haley now. And Haley, I know offense is the name of your game. It has been for a long, long time. How was this season a success, just like the other ones, a county championship for you guys? And just a little bit about what you guys did this year and what you did this year.
I think that what was like mostly a success was like the camaraderie we have with our team. It really did help because when you're friends with people, you know you like to play with them better and you get along better. Also having like a bunch of like really athletic soccer girls on the team obviously helps too with attacking because we're like a very attacking based team. Like we still defend, but we love to go forward and we love to press the ball.
From the spring season to this season, we've talked before about how much attention you get on defense, sometimes triple teamed, yet you're still able to find, the net 13 times this year, led the county in scoring. How have you seen your game develop in terms of facing that defense and that pressure, but still coming through for your team?
I think that I've done a good job figuring out how to get around it. It definitely is tough, but, I try to come up with some strategies to help, like making runs off the ball to kind of lead the defender and come back, passing off so then I can get it back, not just dribbling because that doesn't work all the time. But definitely my teammates help, especially the center mids and the outside mids, just me getting the ball to them sending it back in from the outside.
Off to Eastern Kentucky next year. I know that was something that you've been excited for a long time. What's that feeling like of sort of having to start over as a freshman, but also making a name for yourself at the college level?
It's definitely nerve-wracking, but I'm super excited. I'm really excited to get to play at the collegiate level. I've always wanted to, and I have a lot of family in Kentucky and that I haven't seen in a while, so I'll be closer to them as well, which would be nice. So.
Haley and Jordan, thanks very much. Congratulations on great seasons and your Offensive Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year for CMSportsNet.
When we come back, Pat's going to tell us about the county champions from the other fall sports, and he's going to check in with his podcast partner, Carroll Supervisor of Athletics, Michael Duffy, about the fall sports season.
Hey there, I'm Pat Stoetzer.
And I'm Michael Duffy, inviting you to join us for The Score and more.
It's our new podcast, and each week we'll talk about high school sports in Carroll County. We'll share information about upcoming games, highlight coaches and athletes, and much more.
We'll even try to have a little fun along the way. Don't miss The Score and More podcast, presented by CMSportsNet.
The Score and More Sports podcast is available online at carrollmediacenter.org and on a variety of podcast channels.
Welcome back. I'm Mike Preston. CMSportsNet covered Carroll County High School football and girls soccer this fall. Now Pat Stoetzer will tell us about how things went in the other fall sports.
Thanks, Mike. Century won the boys soccer county championship, the Knights' first outright title since 2009. Century went on to take the Class 2A West Region 1 crown by holding off rival Liberty in 6 rounds of penalty kicks. The Knights finished with a 14-3-1 record. South Carroll reached the Class 1A state quarterfinals as well. In boys cross country, Liberty won the Carroll County Athletic League meet team title for the 6th year in a row before finishing second at the Class 2A West meet and the 2A state meet at Hereford High School. Man Valley's Aiden Neal repeated as county champion, and he won a 3A East title the following week before taking third at states. Liberty made it a county sweep by winning the girls cross country side as well. The Lions took the title for the third time in as many seasons, then won the 2A West meet and placed second at states. Man Valley's Ruby Guffney took home her third career county title, and she had a top 20 finish at states. Field hockey was hotly contested this fall as usual, and Century celebrated its first county title in 7 years. The Knights went 10-5-1 and 5-1 in Carroll County play. Carroll had 4 teams reach the state semifinals in the postseason: Francis Scott Key and Liberty in Class 1A, Manchester Valley in Class 2A, and Westminster in Class 3A. The county couldn't get past that round, however, so no teams made it to Washington College for the annual state finals. Westminster won the Carroll County golf title once again this season. The Owls went 16-0-1 in regular season matches and took second at the CCAL tournament to finish first under the county's point system. Owls senior Jennifer Sorkin also repeated as Carroll County champ, while Liberty won the tournament team title after they took 6th in last year's event. Westminster also claimed the volleyball county championship for a 5th straight season. The Owls ran their record to 15-0 before losing to Howard in the regional playoffs. Century and South Carroll each made a run to the state Final Four, with the Knights in Class 2A and the Cavaliers in Class 1A.
Thanks, Pat, and congratulations to all the county champions. I know you also recently caught up with Carroll County Supervisor of Athletics, Michael Duffy, to talk about how the fall season went and how Carroll coped with the continuing COVID-19 pandemic.
Thanks, Michael, for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Happy to be here.
This fall was a return to normalcy all around the state, but of course in Carroll County as well. From the Carroll County aspect, in terms of getting back from the pandemic state of things, how do you feel like it went? Back on the no restrictions for fans, the calendar was back in line. Your thoughts on that?
It was a lot of work from our athletic directors, our administrators, our nurses, our coaches, and our students and parents, and the support of everybody. But I thought it was pretty good success. It was exciting to be back and having more full events, being back to that level of normalcy. So, I don't want to call it an unqualified success, but I think it was a really good stepping block. It got us moving along.
Last year's fall got pushed into the spring, and there were plenty of issues that you guys had to deal with in terms of teams losing games, athletes being quarantined, things of that nature. Were there many of those issues this fall, or kind of leading off what we just talked about, or did you guys feel like it was a success in that regard too?
It was a success. We had fewer. They weren't eliminated, and I don't think they're going to be eliminated, but we've certainly, people have been very responsible, been proactive, and been communicating really well so that we can keep on top of any issues or any concerns, especially from a COVID standpoint, and that's been very helpful.
You and I have seen each other on the sidelines a lot this year. A lot of successful things and memorable moments during the fall season for Carroll County sports. What were some that come to mind right away if you think about all the sports that have gone on since we started practice in August?
Wow, that's a lot. Honestly, for me, it's just been exciting to see our teams and our students back competing. There have been some great football games. I can think of the Westminster Manchester Valley. It was just a beautiful evening. It was the Ravens Rise game. It was a great game. So the competition, the spirit of the fans, the crowds, all of it has just really been made for an exciting season. There have been some great soccer games. I can think of, I got to watch Liberty Century girls, Liberty Century boys were both really good. There have been some good volleyball matches, cross country, field hockey, everything. For me, it's just the opportunity to see our students, cheerleading even, our fall cheerleading. For me, it's the opportunity to see our students competing, and I just relish that chance day in and day out.
This is year 3 for you as the county supervisor of athletics. What are some of the things that you've really are most proud of accomplishing, and maybe what's on the horizon for you as we move into the next few years in terms of your spot in Carroll County?
Well, the accomplishments are never mine. They're the work of everybody. Our athletic directors just do an amazing job, and I can't give them enough credit, and I know they never get enough credit. But really, our biggest thing these past couple years have been managing our way through COVID, and that's certainly been difficult. And I think they've dealt with the lion's share of that work, and I really appreciate their efforts. That's been our biggest obstacle, and everyone working together has really helped to make sure that our students have an opportunity to play high school sports, the sports they love, for their schools. What's on the horizon? Wow, there's a lot. We've obviously started with broadcasting of events through the NFHS network, also with CMSportsNet. That's been great. We're looking forward to continuing those relationships, continuing to be able to broadcast and showcase our students. We're continuing to make improvements at our facilities, and what we're hopeful to do is be able to show the great things that our students and our coaches can do, which really provides educational athletic opportunities day in and day out, because it allows us to help our students become better citizens and ambassadors of our schools.
Yeah, that's exciting stuff. Yeah, thanks for joining us today, Michael. To hear more from Michael Duffy and yours truly, be sure to check out our podcast, The Score and More, by visiting carrollmediacenter.org.
Coming up after the break, we turn our attention to Carroll Community College's men's soccer team. For the Lynx, it wasn't about how they started, but how they finished.
What does it take to cover local high school sports? It takes staff and volunteers, equipment, training, and community support from people like you. You can help by making a donation to the Community Media Center today. Your gift is an investment in our community, our schools, and most of all, our student athletes. We want to expand our coverage to include both boys and girls sports, but we can't do it without your help. So please, make your donation today and help us bring high school sports to every screen in Carroll County.
Welcome back to CMSportsNet. I'm Mike Preston. Here with me is Pat Stoetzer, who covered the Carroll Community College men's soccer team this fall. Pat, the Lynx got out to a rough start, but they finished pretty well, didn't they?
They did. Carroll had a rough start, tough August and September, but they bounced back in a big way in October. The Lynx went 4-3 over the final month of the season to finish 4-9 overall, and they had some standout contributions along the way. Carroll Christian School's alum Joey Brower led the team in scoring with 11 goals and 23 points, good for a top 10 showing in the Maryland JUCO Conference. Alec Wargo had 4 goals and 11 points, and Abram Costanzo tallied 3 goals and finished with 9 points. Goalkeeper Mason Hale was named the team's most valuable player. Joey Brower earned Offensive Player of the Year honors. Aaron Ostendorf was Defensive Player of the Year, and Eric Rakowiak was tagged Unsung Hero. I recently caught up with Coach Tom O'Brien and 2 of his top contributors, Liberty graduate Aaron Ostendorf and Carroll Christian alum Joey Brower. How did you see the defenders as a unit, and with you leading the way there, sort of realize that maybe things needed to change a little bit and just sort of take more control, especially in the midfield and things like that?
We started out with a 3-back system, trying to get more bodies in the midfield to work the ball throughout that way. But once we found out that we weren't able to find that quickly, we went back to a 4-back system about midway through the season. And I'd say that really found and helped us out because we were balanced on both sides of the ball, and that way we could use both sides of the field really well.
How about you personally? You feel like you took took positive strides and kind of upped your game when needed to? Because again, like controlling the midfield and getting those 50-50 balls and stepping up on offense when needed to. You feel like you had a pretty well-rounded season overall, despite the record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I figured we needed somebody to be physical in the ball, win the 50-50s, and I made sure to do that. Winning balls in the air, I made sure that was my strong suit. I take pride in that personally. But getting things started on offense, a couple games, scoring some early goals, and then that fueling some other goals during that games, did everything I could to help the team succeed.
And you certainly took charge on offense. How do you feel like you got your game got better as the season went on?
Me and my midfielders and the other attackers, we meshed better near the end of the season, and we connected some passes and was able to score several goals, which I'm happy with. And we overall just did a lot better, won some games, and just had a few victories I was happy about.
You take a lot of pride in sort of being that go-to guy on offense?
Yeah, it's happy to see all my hard work pay off. Me and my brother, we work hard a lot and train a lot, and I'm happy to see it pay off in goals and just awards perhaps, and I'm just pleased with that, yes.
The way that the season finished, I know there wasn't a postseason for you guys, but if you're going to try to look for some bright spots, what were some of the things that you guys did well toward the end of the season that led you had some come from behind wins down the stretch and beat some teams, some good positive strides toward the end? Were there a few things that you look back on and say that's the reason why we won those games in October?
Yeah, we showed a lot of heart near the end of the season. When we fall behind, we wouldn't give up. We would come back and try our hardest and try and score some goals and win, and I'm happy with that.
The way they finished in October, how pleased are you with, at least from where you started to where you finished in terms of success and progress?
Very pleased, actually. I mean, in fairness, tailed 2 months, right? September really struggled. October really got healthy, got stronger, scored more goals, played better in the back, so very happy, actually. I mean, obviously you start the season wanting to finish the last game as the championship. In this case, I was happy with the momentum we had in the last month of the season.
I mentioned the goalies, Tim Wolf and Mason Hale, and you guys got the first shutout in program history. You were proud of that, but can you talk about how they filled that role well for you guys and did the best that they could to sort of anchor that back row?
Well, actually, they gave us a new dimension back there. I mean, being field players, they're very good with their feet. They're good off their line. They're good outside the box. So they gave us a new dimension and a little bit of expanded capability. Plus, you mentioned, we got our first program shutout when Mason, and he played the whole game. We didn't split the game, and he had a real strong game, both stopping shots as well as distributing the ball. And oddly enough, Tim finished the season and contributed both in the midfield, back line, and in the goal. And if I remember right, Tim had like a 546, 550 save percentage and maybe almost 50 saves. So here we got two athletes that we convert from field players to field players and goalkeepers, and they use what they're good at field, and they use our athleticism in the goal. And they had that dimension, and they played well.
You like where things are going? You think they're going in the right direction in your eyes?
Yeah, they are. And so we have an ID camp coming up in December on December 11th. So we'll get a look at some young guys who may be coming in. We've got spring that we'll train. We'll probably train a few days and have a few practice games in the spring. We've got a good base of about 8-9 guys coming back who I've seen play. And if I do a decent job recruiting and bringing some new talent in, I think the momentum from this fall, along with the foundation from the previous seasons, it can move us to the next level.
Quite a year for the Lynx and quite a year for soccer in Carroll County. Well, we're out of time. Thanks to our guests, Chris Little, Haley Greenwade, Jordan Townsend, Michael Duffy, Tom O'Brien, Joey Brower, and Aaron Ostendorf. And thank you for watching. I'm Mike Preston with Pat Stoetzer. Look for us on the 2021 Carroll County High School Football Wrap-Up Show. And remember, we will have winter high school sports coverage in the first week of December. For more CMSportsNet coverage or to learn how to be a part of our local sports coverage, visit carrollmediacenter.org.